Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Awakening the Rainmaker. I have today with me Nansi Misra. Hi Nansi, pleased to be having this conversation with you.
Thank you so much, Nishta, for inviting me here. It's
Yeah.
my pleasure.
So, to give you a background about Nansi, Nansi is the co founder of the 100x Entrepreneurs podcast. It is amongst the top 15 in Asia in the business category. Nancy is also an influencer and a digital content creator. On a platform like LinkedIn, she has over 250,000 followers. So Nancy, I'll dive into the straight into the topics of the day, which are all about content economy, creator economy, the power of community. Now, you yourself have a very interesting profile and the command in terms of through your podcast and through LinkedIn when you reach out to hundreds and thousands of people. So, what is your advice to content creators or to community builders out there on how they can harness on this power of content and community in parallel to creating an impact?
So I would start by quoting people who have built their community first and then they have built a product out of that.
Hmm.
So there are people like Suhas Motwani. He started Product Folks, right? Then we have Ankur Varakumur. We have Vaibhav Sisanthi, founder of Growth School. They all started with their passion. So I'm sure they haven't started with the idea of launching a course or launching product. So I recently read a book written by Ankur Warikoo, and he shared that why he started this content creation journey, and he mentioned that his purpose was to spread awareness, right, and to build a personal brand for himself. So that was the purpose, that was the core motivation behind starting his content creation journey, and that was the reason why he could continue doing that for so long. And now he's running courses for us, right? And Product Folks, they have also launched courses on product management. And Growth School, they are also creating a lot of content and creating a lot of courses. So one should always start with why you should be doing that, why you should be creating the content in the first place. So I'll share my example also. I still don't prefer calling myself a content creator because I don't plan my content. I don't have a content strategy for myself yet. But I know why I'm writing on LinkedIn. Why LinkedIn? Why am I writing? Why I am writing what I am writing, right? So I know my why. So you should know your why you are doing that. So pick an idea, pick a topic that you are really passionate about, because it's a long term game. You are not going to do that for next 3 months or 6 months. It'll take time to build an audience, to build a community, to gain their trust. So it's a long term journey. Pick a topic that you're really passionate about, and eventually you'll figure out what you really want to do with that community, or with that with that audience, or whatever your passion is. You'll eventually figure out.
Hmm. This is so relatable, Nancy, because I was a part of this LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program in India, and Ankur Wariku was one of the mentors for the program. And it was the most attended session. And he talked about just that, choose the why, like know your passion, because as you rightly said, this is not a 3 month stint or a 6 month stint. If you're really passionate about sharing your views out there, then pick up the right topic, something you wouldn't get bored of, or something which doesn't start feeling like another job that
Hmm.
there's a compulsion to do it. If it comes naturally to you, it's going to flow effortlessly. In fact, just drawing from my personal experience also here, when I started writing my book, I didn't have any writing background or content background. But when I thought of writing Awakening the Rainmaker, or when I started doing these episodes on LinkedIn, I was like, wow, I'm really passionate about gender equality, and it doesn't really feel like a job. It just comes naturally. I enjoy having these conversations. And yeah, what best, just take this out to the world out there, make it reach more and more people. So, drawing from what you just said, you said, find your why. And now, what I've noticed on your content on LinkedIn, especially, you talk a lot about your journey, like your professional journey as a mother. Like you're a professional, but you're a mother as well. Some of your posts are widely loved and they resonate a lot. Like they resonate well with me too. Like specifically one of your posts that I loved the most, where you talked about, that I get to work for, let's say, 4 to 5 hours in a day, but I give in my best because that's the time my kid allows me to work and I'm away from my kid, and I do the best. It's not like I'm less productive or I'm doing less. I just make the most out of those 4 to 5 hours that I work. And that post drove like tremendous amount of engagement. So can you talk about your motivation on choosing this type of content, or what's your motivation of sharing your journey on LinkedIn as a mother, as a professional?
So I think since childhood, I have been this ambitious person and this competitive person that I have to do something because my mother always encouraged us to do well in academics because she has her reasons. We are from a village, and my parents moved out of village to this small town because they wanted us to get good education. That was the only reason why they migrated to Shahjahanpur. That's the name of my city, my small, my hometown. And so that was this like I always had this motivation that I have to study well because I have to do something. And my mother constantly reminded me that you have to do really well. I don't want you to become like me, and I don't have my own identity. You should be independent, have your own identity, and most specifically she wanted me to be financially independent because she herself lived that journey where like being a woman you are dependent on your husband financially, so she didn't never want me to be financially dependent on my husband or my brother or my father. So I always had this motivation that I have to do well, and that's how I landed in Delhi, did my graduation. So I always has this ambitious mindset, uh, and I got married very early, became a mother very early in my life, and I thought that everything is going well in my life till the day the bubble burst, and I thought that everything is not going the way I want things to turn, right? And everything in my life started affecting me, and I realized that I really need to break this loop, this loop where you constantly feel negative. You are getting affected by everything happening in your life, every person, whatever he or she is saying, you are just feeling negative about that, right? So I decided that like I really need to set a routine for myself because this is the kind of life I don't want to live for the next 1 2 year where don't have any routine. I'm just living my life as per Kabir's schedule, right? I should have my own routine, and then I should train my family members that this is my time where I will be working, and I need you and you and you to help me with this, right? And I followed that routine for I think 2 3 weeks, and it was really helping me. It was helping me emotionally, mentally, physically, in all ways. I was very happy that for 4 hours I used to work, and then I'm very mindful about my time, the time I'm spending with my family, and especially with Kabir. I'm so happy. Otherwise I would feel like all the time is going to Kabir. I don't have any identity. This is what I am doing. I scored 91% in 12th, and it doesn't mean anything at all now. So, and when I started following that routine, I like everything was working out very well for me. And I shared that experience on LinkedIn. I tell you, I was not very confident about sharing that post, but I eventually shared that. And that post went viral. I had no idea that I was not very active on LinkedIn, so I didn't even check the app to when you are active you keep checking your recent post, like how many likes it got or how many comments it got. I didn't check because I was not active on LinkedIn that time. And by evening, I think when I last checked, I had got 46,000 friend requests on connection request on LinkedIn. And I had so many messages from mothers all across the world saying that we are in the same boat. We have similar kind of struggles. And it was so overwhelming. That was the first time my post went viral, and I wanted to help each of them. So I was like, I should be doing this, Siddharth. I should make a plan. Maybe I should connect with recruiting firms, and I should, help them get jobs. And then after 2 3 days, I realized that it was not possible for me, like because I was not at that, you know, I was not in that phase. I was still struggling. I still had 4 hours, right? But that post really helped me to realize that if my one post could create an impact on so many lives, then this is the least I can do. I should keep sharing my journey, whatever I'm feeling, my thoughts, emotions. And अगर एक भी ऐसी working mother है जिनको लग रहा है कि यार आई ऐसा आज पड़ा है, नहीं मेरे को काम करना है, एंड आई शुड फाइंड अ रीजन टू get back to work or not to discontinue, then it'll be more than sufficient for me. So that was the motivation behind sharing my journey on LinkedIn, and it's still working out well for me.
Wow, Nancy, I mean, kudos to you. And you're so right, the kind of impact that content creates, and especially when it's coming from somebody as a reader, if you say, hey, I can relate to this person, and if she can, then maybe I can. That really helps. And this, especially your, the delegation bit that you said, these 4 hours, I tell, okay, now you have to help with this, you have to help with this, and so that I need those 4 hours. It just reminded me of one of the interviews I did for the book Meher Pudamji, chairperson of Thermax Limited. And she said, similar to what you're saying, that at the end of the day, once you become a parent, and more specifically for mothers, because even today it's great that we have all the talk on equality, but caregiving responsibilities are still, disproportionate. So as a mother, you need to plan a little more compared to your partner, your spouse. And she mentioned when she became a mother for the first time, she realized that at the end of the day, as if I'm a happy woman, I'm a happy mother. And if my work makes me happy, I should continue with it. Because often women feel that, they go into a guilt spiral that I'm spending time away from my child. Is it right or wrong? But if it feels right for you as an individual, it's right for you as a mother, as a wife, or in as a professional, or whatever role you want to define yourself by. Because if you're an happy individual, you're going to give your best to every role that you play in your life. And she very beautifully says that, just delegate shamelessly.
Hmm.
Don't feel guilty at all. Delegate to your, if you're with your extended family, your close family, your partner, if you want to hire a help, just delegate and continue with your journey. Because of course, just you're not even living your life fully, but see the impact that you're creating and the role model you're becoming for your own child, when they also are like, okay, even I need not be limited by my personal milestones. I can do whatever I set my eyes on.
Hmm.
So this leads me to my next question. I know you mentioned that when you posted this post, which went viral, you were less confident. But now that I see your journey, you're like a pillar of confidence. I would say your post, even your podcast, you come across as a very confident person who's like well thought out, very structured in her thought and everything. So, specifically for the women out there, what would be your advice to women who at times, they feel they struggle with confidence when they want to put themselves out there, when they want to, let's say, share their views? And I'll just quote a study here. There was this a very prominent study which said that only 22% of women feel that they are taught the value of self confidence as children. The most commonly taught values to them are hard work and respect. And this, as they grow up, reflect in their professional choices as well. they shy away from taking risks. They shy away from, let's say, asking for very high visibility projects where they're leading a team, etc. And this just translates into even imposter syndrome as we grow up. So what would be your advice to women who are, let's say, struggling in this entire process of putting themselves out there, not just on these platforms, but even in their professional lives, if they're struggling with taking risks, or if they're struggling with just confidently asking for newer opportunities?
So I think since childhood we are taught that we have to be independent, we have to be independent, and we, make this one of goals of our life, that we have to become self-sufficient, we have to be independent, we should not be dependent on anyone in our life, be it our husband or anyone, right? And then when we become a mother, everything changes. We need the support system. We realize that without support, without being dependent on anyone, we can't move ahead with our in our professional journey, right? And eventually a lot of things change. There are women who navigate, and there are women who get stuck in this loop, right? Because we don't know what to do, we don't know what to expect. हमें सिखाया ही नहीं गया है कि यार ठीक है, आप अगर एक लाइफ में आप एक ऐसा टाइम आता है जहां पर आपको डिपेंड होना पड़ेगा लोगों से, देन हाउ विल यू फिगर आउट द राइट सपोर्ट सिस्टम फॉर यू? वी आर नॉट taught that in school or anywhere else, right? सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस तो तब आता है ना जब आप माइलस्टोन्स अचीव करते हो, आपने ये अचीव करा, आपने अच्छा स्कोर किया, तो सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस आता है। आपने स्पोर्ट्स में अच्छा करा, या आपको पता है कि कोई एक ऐसी चीज है जो आप सबसे अच्छा करते हो। इट कैन बी कुकिंग, इट कैन बी like being the organized person, or playing a sport or any hobby or academics. if अगर आपको लगता है कि इस चीज में मैं सबसे अच्छा कर सकती हूँ, you are a confident person, right? But other than teaching self confidence, we should also teach our girls, that how to find the right support system for yourself. I tell you, it matters the most, right? Apart from having my mother-in-law and my husband, they are super supportive. I still look up to women who have already done that, right? So we have so many content creators telling us how to do this, how to do that, right? We have so many legends, icons like Elon Musk and Steve Jobs, but at this point in time, nobody is able to motivate me, right? Then I'm looking up to people like Vinita, people like Ghazal, right? People like Michelle Obama, who have similar journeys, right? Who I can connect with the most, right? How they have figured out their life. The people like Twinkle Khanna, she did tried acting, and people started talking negative about her life achievements, right? And look at her now. She's so successful. She's an author. I think she's also pursuing MBA. I'm not sure about that. And she's a blogger. She recently started this Tweak India initiative, right? She's hosting so many wonderful women on her interview, right? And it's Sudha Murthy, one of the biggest examples. So you, apart from, like, first of all, you have to build a support system for yourself, that there are people who you can rely on. Like yesterday we were shooting a podcast, me and my husband, and in these cases, my mother-in-law manages my kid when we are shooting, when we both are shooting, but she was not at home. And so I took Kabir to my helper's home, and he was there for 6-7 hours while I was peacefully shooting the podcast episode. So you have to have that kind of support system for yourself. So if you have to learn how you figure out that for yourself, and you learn that from women who have already done that. So we really need to teach our women how to find the right kind of support system in your life at any point and stage, right? And when you're looking up to those women who have already done that, or people who have done that, like what you want to pursue in future, it's really easy for you to draw inspiration on daily basis. And when you show up every day, it gets better. This is my personal experience. Like I have been following them. My Instagram is full of posts from Michelle Obama and Sudha Murthy and Ghazal and Vinita, and I read their posts and I feel like if they can do, I can also do. Like Vinita is mom of two boys, so I can relate with her. She has done something massive which I would want to do in future. So she has already set the example that she can do it. I can also do it.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
such a beautiful thought, Nancy. And I think it's also to do with in whichever capacity you continue to do it, like not to feel bad about the choices you're making in the process. Like when you mentioned the name of Michelle Obama there, I was recently listening to one of her interviews where, so she, of course, Barack and Michelle, they have raised two daughters, right? So she said, there were times in our careers when being a mother, I did like reduce the speed of my career trajectory a little, but I never paused it. I continued in whatever capacity that I could, because we were raising children together, and that was a conscious choice that I took. But in the process, what the highlight of what I was listening was that I never felt bad about it. I
hmm.
never victimized myself for it. It was a conscious choice, and I'm happy about the choice I made. I think that's the beauty. Even when you talked about managing a 4-hour work day, it's about making your choice, which is, which you're not forced into it or anything, making like a very practical choice on your own terms and being just confident and happy about whatever you're doing. I think
Because
that's the best part.
like having that victim mindset doesn't help at all. So what would you do? You want to feel miserable all your life, or you want to be this positive person who want to figure out things one step at a time? So
Yeah.
it's a choice.
Yeah, actually, and in all the names that you took, and or even like your journey, I'm also a mother of one. My journey, I think that's the best part. Like we made the choices, and what you said, right? You just need to show up every day, in whatever capacity that you can.
Yes.
Now, leading on to the podcast bit of things, Nancy. So, of course, you run this very successful podcast, the 100x Entrepreneurs. And podcast as an industry is gaining a lot of traction globally. Even in India, today, there is an estimated listener base of up to 90 million. So, those are some huge numbers we're talking about. And we see so many people who are getting interested in introducing their podcast in some shape or form. So what would be, I would say, as a successful podcaster yourself, what would be your advice, or any three hacks that you would give to any aspiring podcaster in terms of, let's say, key matrices that they can track, growth trajectory, or how they can really just get started on this path?
So first would be, as I mentioned earlier, know your
Hmm.
why you want to do that. If that is clear, it will eventually become very easy for you. It was very clear for me and Siddharth. In Siddharth's startup, there were so many things we couldn't learn because it was still an early stage startup when it got acquired. So we learned what happened in 0 to 1 journey. We wanted to learn what happens next. Right? So we were clear that we want to learn what happens in 1 to 10, 10 to 100. And we, with that intention, with the intention of learning more about the startup ecosystem, we started the podcast and we started reaching out to investors in our circle, and we wanted to understand uh, what happens, like um, you know what is the average check size we sees, right? What is like what are the market trends, things like that, right? So we were clear in our minds why we were doing that, and then once we were clear why we are doing that, the next thing followed, that there are people who like us who don't have access to this kind of conversation, who don't know the playbooks, because there were no playbooks till that time when we started how to start up, right? Playbooks shared by successful Indian entrepreneurs who had already done it, right? So we knew that we knew our why, and that also helped us what to do about that, right? So the next is, if you know your why, the next thing will become easy for you. You will figure out how to do that, right? So know your why, and knowing your why will also help you go all in that journey for the next 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. So if you don't have clarity about, if you don't have any clarity about your why, then you will get this, confusion all the time, that why am I doing this? Is it helping people? Am I growing with it? Right? So you will keep getting this kind of thoughts. Right? So first thing is know your why you want to become a content creator or a podcaster. Right? Second thing is know your metrics. Right? किसके लिए आप ये पॉडकास्ट बना रहे हो, आपकी ऑडियंस क्या है, एज ग्रुप क्या है, राइट। हर एपिसोड के साथ में अपने मेट्रिक्स आप चेक करो कि 18 to 25 सुन रहे हैं या 25 to 35 सुन रहे हैं। वी वर क्लियर कि हमारा जो पॉडकास्ट है वो वीसी फर्म्स के लोग सुन रहे हैं, एंजल इन्वेस्टर्स सुन रहे हैं, people who want to invest in startups, and aspiring entrepreneurs who want to learn from successful entrepreneurs, early stage founders who want to learn from late stage founders, right? So we were clear हमारी audience क्या है। So it really helped us cut the noise, that नहीं, हम ऐसे हर टाइप के लोगों को नहीं लेकर आएंगे, वी आर वेरी फोकस्ड। सो being focused helps know your, like, it helps you create a niche for yourself. Otherwise, there are so many people doing so many things, you'll get confused कि क्या करना है, next 3 months के बाद क्या करना है, किस तरीके के गेस्ट को लेकर आना है। So if you know your audience, if you know why you are doing that, you will be focused throughout this journey. So that thing really helped. Third thing would be keep showing up. It's a long journey, it takes a lot of time, to write the content, produce the content, share the content with the right set of people, right? और जो नेक्स्ट लोगों को सुनना चाहिए वो उन लोगों तक पहुंचाना। इट्स अ लॉन्ग जर्नी। 1-2 एपिसोड, 10 एपिसोड, 20 एपिसोड से कुछ भी नहीं होने वाला। सो यू हैव टू शो अप एवरी डे। देर आर सो मेनी सक्सेसफुल पॉडकास्टर्स or content creators who were already who had already cracked the distribution for themselves, and then they are starting the podcast. So it's relatively easy for them, right? Because they have already cracked the distribution. So you don't have to be discouraged by seeing them, that oh my god, they have done this in 2 months, 3 months. It took me so long, and still I haven't reached there. So it's a long journey. If you have started from scratch, it will take time for you. But if you keep showing up, you know your why, you are focused, things will fall in place for you. So you just have to trust your journey and process.
Yeah, that is very helpful. And as you said, even if we help like one person out there, it's just a brilliant motivation.
Yes.
So,
Because eventually people start telling you if you're going in the right direction, if your content is helping or not, or if it is helping, like our listeners tell us who should be the next guest on the podcast, right? What episode did well, किस episode में audio quality बहुत बेकार थी, किस में audio video quality खराब हो गई. So your audience will start telling you why you are doing it, if it is helping or not, right? That kind of things will start getting back to you. So you will figure out if you want to launch a course now, if you want to build a product now. So you will start getting those signals from your audience if you keep showing up, and after some point in time you're able to connect with a significant number of people.
this is so interesting, no, Nancy, moving from, that content community to commerce. What you just said, like the whole life cycle of it, it's actually very brilliant. And I hope that all the aspiring podcasters who listen to us get some interesting nuggets from what you just shared. So now we are done with the serious part of the conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on varied topics, like the spectrum of questions that I threw your way. And we'll move on to the lighter sort of, rapid fire thing with you now. Yes? Okay. So are you all ready, Nancy?
Before I got your email, like I had decided that because I have been getting a lot of interview requests, but I still feel that there is so much to learn. I haven't learned much. It's been a very short journey professionally for me. There is a lot to learn, so I should, अभी पूरा फोकस मेरा जस्ट भरने पे होना चाहिए, पूरा अपने आप को भर लो पहले, और थोड़ा सोक कर लो और सीख लो, फिर स्टार्ट करेंगे शेयर करना। अभी आई स्टिल फील दैट आई नो वेरी लिटिल अबाउट थिंग्स, so I should, give time to learn, then I should think of sharing things. But this topic is so close to my heart, then I was like, no, I'll do this one.
Yeah. No, this is
And
very
then
sweet, Nancy. And by the, especially when you said, because you're also like a young person, right? So when a young woman, let's say when I, like a young mother like me, when I read your content, I'm like, yes, it's not like she's very old. She's someone I can relate to. So keep sharing. Just don't think that you need to wait it out till you, like, have more gray in the hair or something. It's just those relatable people out there makes it all the more fun for your followers, for the people out there. They're like, yeah, like I said, if she can, I can. And it's just like all of us then make good progress and good runway, I say.
thank you for your kind words.
Yes, now we'll get into the rapid fire. Are you all like ready?
Yes.
Rapid and fiery.
Yes, I'm all set.
Okay, so I'll start with the first one. So one word that describes you the best.
I would say learner,
Okay.
because like every day I feel कि यार अभी बहुत कुछ सीखना है, अभी बहुत कुछ सीखना है, अभी ये नहीं आता है, अभी ये नहीं आता है, अभी ये चीज पॉडकास्ट में ठीक से काम नहीं कर रही है, मे बी आई शुड कनेक्ट विद समवन हु नोज दिस थिंग, राइट? एंड इन जनरल व्हेनेवर आई फील कि यार ये चीज आ गई है, अब आई स्टार्ट गेटिंग रेस्टलेस, यार अब नहीं करना, अब नहीं करना, अब कुछ और पकड़ते, कुछ और करते, तो आई थिंक आई एम अ लर्नर,
No, no.
लाइक
Who's your role model?
Vinita. Found like she needs no introduction, but founder of Sugar Cosmetics. Vinita is my role model.
And what connects you with her story? Like, what's that one nugget that connected with you the most?
She inspires me because we have a lot in common. She's also a mother of two boys. I have a baby boy, and she was also very good in academics and wanted to do something big in life. And I also have the similar aspiration in my life. And she inspires me because the way she has been sharing her journey inspires me a lot, because she shares that she still have self doubts about herself, and the way she overcame all those self doubts inspires me the most, because it was not like she was polished from day one, and or she chose not to share that side of her story. She shared all the stories, all the struggles, and how she overcome all those struggles. So I'm able to connect with her so much that she inspires me the most.
That's
To
nice.
keep going on, to keep showing up, to start with early, and then eventually if you keep showing up, you will reach there. And you should have your hobby, passion. Like she is a runner,
Hmm.
so how you having this interest or hobby helps you in life, right?
Yeah. When are you most inspired?
When I have a productive day,
That's
I feel
nice.
so inspired. I feel so inspired. I look forward to the next day. Oh my God, I could do these many things in today. And I'm so mindful about my time, the day in the later part of the day. Like if I spend 4 hours in the most productive way, then the next hours I spend very peacefully, calmly, happily.
This is so relatable, like that I can just resonate with. That's bang on how I feel.
Yes.
Most inspired when I've spent a good day. Okay, one thing which you would want the world to become.
Kind. I really want people to be kind, because if you are kind to people around you, it makes a lot of difference in their life. Recently, I was just following this content creator, and he made a very short video, shared it on Instagram story. He has mass following, and he was just sharing that a baby was crying in the plane and how he was getting disturbed, and it disturbed me. I really didn't like that thing. I really want people to be kind, because uh, when you are conscious about others' life also, you care about people around you, and you don't realize it till you become mother, till you become a parent, till you become someone who needs others' help. You don't realize that, but it creates a lot of difference in others' life if you are kind. So I think if world is kind, I don't think women will have to struggle this much.
Yeah. I think it's just about, leaving a better world than the one we inherited. And you're right, kindness is such an important virtue to do that.
Mhm.
And on the final note, Nancy, like one takeaway from the book Awakening the Rainmaker.
Very interesting question. So, I have learned from this book that when you really want to continue in your professional journey, you will find the right support system for yourself. Like if you have decided that you want to do it, you will figure out how you want to do it, who are going to help you, right? I would like to quote an example here. It's not related to motherhood, but it's a very beautiful example. So we recently hosted Kuku FM founder Bisu on our podcast, and his journey is super inspired. He's from a village in Rajasthan, and his parents are farmers, and his his parents' budget for his education was 10,000 for a year, right? And they didn't want him to pursue science because science was costly. They wanted him to pursue arts because it was budget friendly for them. But he wanted to pursue science only because he believed that if he pursued science, he would be able to do much better in life because he is already passionate about science, and if he's passionate about something, he'll be able to make a difference in his life and in his parents' life, or maybe people who are connected with him. And he eventually convinced his professors that can you please sponsor my education, I'll repay you. And like, it's a very beautiful story. It inspired me. I was sitting in that recording room and I was just looking at him, like how people do that. Like how do you really figure out when you really want to do that? So I have learned this from your book, that if you really want to do something, you will figure out something that will help you to move forward or make things work out for you in life.
Yeah, that is such a beautiful closing thought. That if you're in it, just give it your 100%, and you'll just figure out a way to navigate through to the top. This has been great, Nancy. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed the conversation. Hope you had as much fun as I did, and I hope most of our listeners also enjoy the details that we talked throughout the piece today.
Thank you so much, Nishta, for inviting me here. I had a great time talking to you. I look forward to meeting you in person.
Yes, we should plan a meet one of these days.
Perfect.
Okay. Uh,